Hi folks, welcome to the LMP3. We are at the wonderful Interlagos with tarmac that is like lava. It is very hot here, so be cautious around here in the slower corners. The tyres will get used, so make sure you use them all in the race. Otherwise, let's crack on in the fast lap. Right, fast lap done and dusted, and let me show the info tab for you. Fixed iRacing setup is what we're using on this one, and a track temp of a toasty 126 Fahrenheit. Some would call that warm, I would call that scorching, and a moderate usage of 44% is what I always use. Now, the lap I'm actually going to show you is late in my stint. I had 4-ish laps of fuel, so I am quite light, but I am going to show you a lap 16, which is a 130.799, so basically a 130.8. The reason for that is I feel like I could get into the low 31s, because I did on lap 8 there, in low 31 ones, once I've got to learn the track. Because with these track guides, I go around, learn the track a little bit, and then I can sort of find some time and find some little bits of shortcuts, and then hopefully transmit that to you guys. Now, I normally do 2 stints, but unfortunately I only had one time to do 1 stint. So this is where I think that coming out on fuel, I can get into low 31. So that's where I think showing you a high 30 would be quite well placed. So yeah, me doing sort of low 31s, high 30s, I think in the fixed is where I'm going to live. In the open setup, I kind of want to see 29s in the open setup, to be honest. I think the open setup will be a lot nicer in the tighter hairpins and stuff, a little bit less understeer. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling. It's going to be interesting around here. There's a lot of places for us to overtake the GT4s in the open series, and it does deliver the slipstream up from the last corner. It's going to be huge. Now, the slipstream doesn't normally work in the LMP3 unless you're right up his jacksie. So there is going to be a good opportunity. Be careful about locking brakes around here. Big heavy braking zones and very crucial braking zones, so make sure you get your braking nice and controlled, put it that way. Make sure you stop it without locking any tires, particularly turn 1 as well. Turn 1 is always tricky around here. I'll explain that in the guide as I go a little bit wide there. Off tracks aren't too bad as well, so safety rating, you can gain some safety rating around here, which is always nice. And well, I think that's enough of me waffling. So let me tell you, OLAP, BLAP telemetry and replay file will all be in my Discord, and my telemetry is also logged on Garage61, which is a very useful online telemetry tool. Not affiliated with them, just think it's a nice idea that you can see my telemetry and compare it against your own, so it's very useful. Otherwise, let's crack on with the fast lap. Right then, LMP3, and for some reason I'm starting mid-track, so really you want to be over here on the right-hand side for turn 1. We're looking for the 50 board just there, and just before it, we're breaking a nice straight line. Use a little bit of the hash marking, but do not touch the grass on the right-hand side. Nice and easy here, second or first gear, depending on what you really want to compromise this left-hander, which I don't. I miss the apex slightly. Stay as far left as you can to really open up this turn 2 here. We want to take that as full throttle as we dare, because we don't want traction control stepping in. We need a good exit, because this long turn 3 is absolutely flat out. So this is actually quite a long full throttle zone. It's all the way around turn 3 and then all the way down to turn 4, which is a hell of a long way. So getting a good exit out of 2 is absolutely crucial. Don't run too far wide, you'll bottom out and go off and get an off track, so bear that in mind. Keep it to the right hand side. There will be dive bombs into this corner, so be cautious, but we're using that little bit of tarmac there that joins the rest of the track to the off track areas, I suppose. Brake in a nice heavy straight line, start bleeding off the brakes, third or second gear depending on what you feel comfortable. Little bit of curb, do not make it push you too far wide, because there's a horrible off track there on exit that will ruin any qualifying lap if you do run too far wide. Around this left hander, it's absolutely flat out, so don't even worry about it. Just trying to minimize scrub on the steering. Bring the car over to the left-hand side now, and we're looking for that marshal post, or just as we come up over the crest, brake nice and gently, and use this corner as a braking zone. So don't worry about the apex, but we want to get the car slowed down and then get this apex right, because now we need to be on full throttle, late apex on the curbing, and make sure we're on a nice straight line trajectory over the crest. And about this point, we start braking for the hairpin. Really slow the car down, really be gentle. We can cut this an awful lot, so be careful about over braking into this corner. You want to compromise it and stay mid to right-hand circuit if you can, to really open up and maximize this one. This one, get the left-hand side of the car on the curb. There's a little bit of a bump there. It gives you a bit more grip with rotation, which is nice. Short shift into second, and be careful about running wide here. You can use all of the curbing, but you don't want to use the grass because that's a bad day. Bring it back over to the left-hand side now, and just we want to sort of get that tree in our eyesight. Brake nice and gently again. Again, this one's even more critical than the first hairpin. Nice late apex, nice rotation there on apex as well. Be careful about getting on full throttle too soon, because there is an off-track there on the left-hand side as well. So be cautious and around this long left-hander. I do have a little bit of a lift here, so if I compromise the first hairpin more, then I can get around here full throttle as well. But generally, this is an overtaken opportunity around here because the huge slipstream fest that is going to follow. Little black mark there on the curb, I suppose we call it. Brake all the way on the curb, and then just as the curb ends, start turning in. You can take a little bit of curve through here. It's a little bit bumpy, but feeding that power nicely. Make sure the traction control doesn't step in, and make sure you don't run too far wide and do an Oscar Piastri and end up on the grass. That is a lap done and dusted, and this is a long drag now. All this slipstream up here, you can't really defend if someone's got the slipstream behind you here. GT4s are going to be fun overtaking here because they're actually quite quick, so hopefully we can get the run up the hill. But that is a lap done and dusted, and that is a 1:30.799, so basically a 1:30.8. As mentioned, this was on 4 laps of fuel, so a little bit lighter than I like to use, but I did a sort of a 31.1, so I think with a bit more practice, I should get into the 30s, high 30s quite quickly, even on high fuel. So that was my that was the lap I chose. Otherwise, if this did help you out, don't forget to like and subscribe and do that lovely YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.